Tipperary wanting everybody well back. So it's underway, and it's Declan Ryan launching Tipperary's first attack. Richard Brown slipped, thereby giving the space to Cormac Bonner. Blocked down by Brown, takes the shoulder, hand passed inside. Ryan making a move in there dangerously. This is a good opener, stopped, and it's finally Nicky English who's in there in the thick of the action, jostling for positions. John Latty was coming in there on the left-hand side, and the referee going in to defuse it quickly. Thankfully, unlike other championship matches not involving this pairing, there was no flare-up, and the referee going to throw the ball in between two players. Declan Ryan and Jim Cashman will be the two involved. Referee wanting Shorty McCarthy back, and Lahey. So Tip pressing, Cork defending as Pat Fox comes looking for the first score of the game. Space at a premium, nicely outside to Michael Cleary, and he's put it over the bar, and Tip have taken the lead. Michael Cleary from Éire Óg Nina, the one who gets the first score of the match. An elusive, fast and decisive player, must be rated one of the most penetrating wing forwards about, with a really rich scoring sense. Ger Cunningham here celebrating 10 years as Cork's #1 goalkeeper. The wind, if there is a wind about, is slightly favouring Cork, but it's not particularly strong. Tony O'Sullivan inside towards Ger Fitzgerald. It's stopped back there. Paul Delaney coming across. Formerly a wing-back, now a right corner-back into the centre of the field. Taken over there by Lahey. High challenge by Pat Hartlett. Still managing to get it through the centre. Jim Cashman coming to Cork's aid. Across towards Tomas Mulcahy's wing. Mulcahy been marked by Conal Bonner this afternoon. Bonner advancing. Joe Hayes whipping into it with the county of Cork. Considine, already a terrific atmosphere. Great competitive edge to the match as Noel Sheehy defuses that one. Stopped by Brendan O'Sullivan in the middle of the field, one of the heroes last year for Cork. Attempting to play it forward to Pat Hartlett, batted out however. Lahey having lost the hurley, needing some support. Michael Cleary was there to assist him, Brendan O'Sullivan and John Lahey just getting to know one another in the opening 2.5 minutes. So the outcome will be a Cork sideline ball. Well, a blistering start, Jimmy Barry Murphy.
Jared, there's an unbelievable atmosphere here at the moment. Players are tearing into it hell for leather and not asking any questions, and there's tremendous commitment on both sides, and it could be a fantastic game.
Whipped up beautifully, John Fitzgibbon. Ken Hogan doing really well. Ball still loose, however, and the referee has whistled. Well, that was a chance there for Cork on the greasy surface. Ken Hogan had to be decisive, came out, showed great bravery following that line ball that was cut in there by Shorty McCarthy. Watches Fitzgibbon, nursed it away for Paul Delaney. Hogan did well to get down and stem the danger. Referee's going to throw the ball in. Hartnett and Carr, the two players involved. Really strong pulling. Bobby Ryan going forward. And Kevin Hennessy and Bobby Ryan then exchanging angry glances. Noel Sheehy saying, have a bit of sense. Bobby Ryan is the player who's being spoken to briefly there by Terence Murray. And Pat Hartnett, obviously, it's going to be a free in. And Tony O'Sullivan from the Pearship will be the free taker. Sides are level. His best ever tally in a Munster final was in 1982 when he scored 12 points against Waterford.
Well, lovely stylist Tony O'Sullivan, and you wouldn't expect him to miss this angle, and while he hasn't been a consistent free taker in the past for Cork, he's taken the free straight, and he certainly wouldn't miss from that angle.
It's Cork with possession again. Jim Cashman, sides tied up 1 point apiece. Really driving it forward towards Ger Fitzgerald. Kevin Hensey going across there with Conor O'Donovan. O'Donovan had missed last year's final because of an injury. Out only as far as Tomas Mulcahy, 20 metres out. Referee says play on. And it's Noel Sheehy who takes it away. Stopped by Mark Foley splendidly. Whipped out by Paul Delaney. Out into the centre towards John Madden. The dashing wing back from Laura. Towards Pat Fox, who ran a good 30 metres to collect. Falls down to Ryan, up towards English. And there with John Considine. Then a great battle last year, remember. McCarthy through the centre. Onto Hartnett here. That's the 65-metre line. Getting there ahead of Carr. It runs loose. John Fitzgibbon turning on his left-hand side, and he's put it over the bar. Fitzgibbon, who got 2 goals in last year's final, content with a point to edge Cork into the lead for the first time of the match with only 5 minutes gone.
It's a great score by Fitzgibbon off his left hand there. But I think what was noticeable about the build up to that score was the first time ground hurling by the Cork team. In the conditions, it's not easy to pick the ball, and they're obviously playing to instructions and letting the ball do the work and striking first time off the ground, which is what Cork hurlers generally like to play.
Jim Cashman trying to take it out of that ruck of players. John Lahey, star minor and 21 player, getting the measure of Shawnee McCarthy. Lahey dashing forward. Oh, the real stars against Limerick. Second time in towards Cormac Bonner, stopped by Richard Brown. Bonner persisting, however, looking for a bit of support. Again trying to bring some players into it. Brown has missed the last couple of championship seasons. Out to Pat Fox, made a good run across from right to left. Is it right? Yes, it is. It's over the bar, and it's 2 points each. So 2 points apiece, 4 points in all so far, Jimmy, and 3 of them, thankfully, coming from play.
That's great to see, Jaron. This is an excellent point by Pat Fox in the opposite corner to where he's actually playing. Turns onto his right side and strikes the score from a very, very difficult angle.
No time for delaying in this match. The puck's out, coming in quickly. Joe Hayes towards Nicky English. Score of 11 points here 2 years ago against Waterford in the Munster final. This is from 40 metres out, hangs in the breeze, goalkeeper in full forward combining, and it's Cormac Bonner who made it just ahead of the goalkeeper Ger Cunningham, and Bonner has pushed Tip in front. Well, they led from the outside. Cork then took the lead, and the last 2 points have come from Tipperary.
Great catch by Nicky English there under pressure. I think he elects to try for a score himself, but it falls short in the wind. And Ger Cunningham advances to meet with Cormac Bonner racing in on top of it. And tremendous note here, no player takes his eye off the ball, and Cormac Bonner takes a tremendous score. That's one of the great scores of hurling, Ger. The ball continuously hit out of the air, never took his eye off it, and an inspirational score for Tipperary.
Just down underneath us here in the areas in front of the stand, there was a degree of resodding done recently. It has thankfully knitted, and that in part at least because of the inclement weather we've had in the last few weeks. Whipped in there by Cathal Casey. Now Brendan O'Sullivan on his left-hand side. Good looking shot by O'Sullivan, well in there. Hennessy's inside. The goal! It's a goal by Kevin Hennessy. He's never scored in a Munster hurling final. He's a goal, I mean. He scored points, but never a goal. He's got one today.
Well, an excellent delivery by Brendan O'Sullivan, who has started well for Cork in the middle of the field. And this is a testing ball for the Tip full back line. And to be fair, this is the area that gave Tipperary so many problems in last year's Munster final, and they've got to sort this out today. It's a high dropping ball coming in from Kevin Hennessy, and an excellent flick by Kevin to the back of the net.
Meanwhile, back live, John Fitzgibbon very nearly in there with another little flick to try and beat Ken Hogan, but Hogan did well. He was fouled, and it's going to be a free out for Tipperary. So the position then just 2 points between the teams. 1-2 for Cork, that's 5 points, Tipperary 3.
Sure, as I was saying, this is the one area that gave Tip such problems last year against Cork, and if they're to win today, they'll have to get on top in the full back line. And already John Fitzgibbon had a chance of a goal. Great save by Ken Hogan, and Kevin Hennessy didn't let that chance go begging there.
Well, the game really starting in a welter of activity. That's Declan Ryan, down it goes. That's Fox. Ball held up on the greasy surface for Fox, and there's just one between them. As promised, it's turning out to be a great match.
Great pick up by Fox here again, got away from his marker Sean O'Gorman, and while the opportunity was there to have a shot at goal, I think Pat did the right thing, took his point, and keeps Tip well in touch, just what they needed at this stage.
In fact, Cormac Bonner was running out to meet that one, but the greasy surface and the damp conditions held up the pace of the ball. Meanwhile, Bobby Ryan whipping it out only as far as Tony O'Sullivan, trying to go around Declan Carr. Up towards Kevin Hennessy again. John Fitzgibbon now. Struck by Paul Delaney, looking for support, getting it from Mark Foley. Closed down quickly, but he's found a gap inside. Fitzgibbon trying to go forward. It's still Fitzgibbon, and outside there's Ger Fitzgerald. There's another goal! The champions with 2 goals in the space of 3 minutes. An amazing start. Delighted Cork fans. Shocked Tipperary supporters, however.
Well, great play here again by John Fitzgibbon. Gets the ball back to Mark Foley under pressure. Foley juggles around with it a small bit. He's surrounded by Tipperary players. Elects to hand pass back inside to Fitzgibbon, who controls it well in the hurley again. Into his hand. spots the loose man outside him, Ger Fitzgerald, and Ger stops an unstoppable shot to the right hand corner of the net. Fantastic goal by Cork again.
All of a sudden, Cork have opened up a 4-point gap. Tony O'Sullivan way on that right-hand side, stopped easily here by Ken Hogan. Well, Cork have made the better start, but there's a long, long way to go. A good hour of this Munster hurling final left. So it really is up to Tipperary to respond. Pat Hartnett. Joe Hayes again. Tomas Mulcahy trying to control. Pursued by Joe Hayes. Dropped in towards John Fitzgibbon, but just getting the better of him. And that is the very first wide of the match for either team. It's a game which has flowed by and large so far, just 2 frees being awarded. And there has scarcely been a foul blow in this match, as you normally expect. Cork and Tipperary playing the height of respect for one another, and very rarely, if ever, do you see a foul blow. Brendan O'Sullivan waiting. Joe Hayes, shouldered by Tomas Mulcahy. Tipped to standing back now, giving Cork a chance to take the initiative. Paul Delaney. In the heavy conditions, making heavy weather of it. Meanwhile, it's John Fitzgibbon. Blocked down by Delaney. Oh, it's still loose here towards Mark Foley. Foley still advancing, trying to kick, but then he was holding, and it's going to be a free out. And Bobby Ryan, who saw that one spill off his stick to Mark Foley, did well to repair the error and close down Foley.
Well, the tip backs did well to recover here, Ger, but Paul Delaney tried to play the ball out of the defence there when a first-time clearance would have proved much more beneficial. And they need to get their act together on the defence very, very fast, because every time the ball goes into that area, Cork look like getting a goal.
Ken Hogan. Towards John Lahey. Still pressing forward. Conor Bonner, Mark Foley again. Tomas Mulcahy getting it up to the inside forward line, and Kevin Hennessy has sold a puck there to Conor O'Donovan, driving it in. He might have gone for the point. Well, I think he felt, having got his first goal in the Munster hurling final, he might go for a second one.
Well, great ball in here by Tomas Mulcahy, looking for Kevin Hennessy. Kevin controls it well, turns Conor O'Donovan very quickly, and again he turns onto his favourite right hand. And honestly, from this angle, I expected Kevin to bang into the back of the net, but he likes to shoot for the near post, and it just skids wide of the right hand post. But again, a great chance for Cork.
One of the great characters of this Cork team indeed is Kevin Hennessy. Standing alongside you a little earlier, Jimmy, Kevin was coming into the ground, and he reminded you that you'd be picking the man of the match for the Sunday game tonight, and he said to you, I happen to watch, Jimmy.
That's right, yeah. Former colleague of mine, of course, Ger, and I think he was giving me a message there, all right.
So you'll be picking the Telecom Ireland man of the match much later on for the Sunday game tonight, just after 8 o'clock. Meanwhile, Tipperary winning themselves a free on the 20-metre line. Nicky English then with the word to Declan Ryan. I think Nicky's making the point, there's a long, long way to go in this game, and there are only 4 points between the teams. Michael Cleary, second chance for a point in this game. He's cut it back to just a 3-point difference.
Yes, Ger, I think Tip will be happy enough just to be 3 points behind, but it's noticeable at this stage that Pat Hartnett and Brendan O'Sullivan are giving Cork a decided pull in the middle of the field, and Tipperary will be hoping that Declan Carr and Joe Hayes will come into the game a bit more than what they've done already.
Huge crowd, 47,500 was the capacity, 2,500 of that crowd made up of juveniles. Mark Foley, splendid catch outside the 45-metre line, didn't really catch the puck, however, as he drove it in. Tomas Mulcahy tried to follow up, whipped out eventually by John Madden, who was quarterback last year. A race for possession over on the far side. Shawnee McCarthy getting there ahead of John Lahey. Bobby Ryan going across to cover the lines there, pursued by Kevin Hennessy. And a foul blow there by Bobby Ryan on Kevin Hennessy. Something of a rarity in a Munster final between these teams, as we said earlier. Declan Carr has a shot blocked down by a really motivated Cork team who want to hang on to their Munster crown and show that last year was not a flash in the pan. Well, Sheehy and Tomas Mulcahy just cooling things down with the aid of the linesman. Meanwhile, there's a Cork player down injured. It may well be Kevin Hennessy following that contact there with Bobby Ryan a little while ago. Well, they are both hyped up, these two teams. This is the incident a little earlier, Jimmy.
Yeah, Bobby Ryan just goes back to gather the ball deep in his defence. Receives a heavy fair charge from Kevin Hennessy. Bobby turns to clear the ball in his left hand, and they get a bit tangled there. I don't think there's anything really serious between the two of them there.
Pat Hartnett Not granted the freeze, so it's Declan Carr against Hartnett, and Terence Murray from Limerick will throw this ball in on the quarter hour. Strong pulling. Finally, Noel Sheehy. Real pile-up, and Joe Hayes taking it out of that ruck of players, trying to make some headway. Stopped, winning himself the free. Gerald McCarthy there in the background, encouraging the Cork lads. Conal Bonner, who burst on the scene in 1989. It was a great year for Tipperary, who won back the All-Ireland crown that season. Sean O'Gorman played so well in last year's All-Ireland final. Up to Cathal Casey, has discarded the helmet. Really good-looking ball, high and over the bar. He was 65 metres out from his own goal when he hit that one. A huge point. Really well struck to open up a 4-point difference once again.
Tremendous play by Cathal Casey. Gathers a loose ball in the middle of the field, and fantastic strike. It must go 75 or 80 yards, and that'll be a great lift to Cork. The game has just gone a bit scrappy, and they'll be hoping to keep the ball going in a bit quicker and a bit faster to their forward end, like they were doing earlier on.
Jim Cashman, who cleaned up that centre half back last year. Declan Ryan wants to do something about that this time. Tony O'Sullivan, smartly driven in towards Kevin Hennessy against Conor O'Donovan. Again, Tip looking at 6s and 7s, and Ken Hogan having to come out. Tomas Mulcahy trying to go the Mo Dirac towards goal. Inside nicely, and it's another one for Ger Fitzgerald. A second goal for the Middleton man. Well, Tip, as you're saying, Jimmy, in real trouble in their full back line.
Well, the Tipperary are under pressure every time the ball comes in. As I said earlier, Cork look like any goal, and it's unbelievable. Tomas Mulcahy is working tremendously hard at right half forward, wins a good ball here, rounds his man fairly easily, and has time to pick out Ger Fitzgerald, who's standing all in his own inside there, and that's very poor defending by Tipperary really. Ken Hogan is isolated, and Ger Fitzgerald has no trouble banging that to the back of the net.
Joe Hayes, meanwhile, trying to do something about it by sending it in, stopped by Ger Cunningham, and he was fortunate that Nicky English was a couple of yards away from him, and he got a chance to get in a good clearance. Put the Tip backs under pressure again. Paul Delaney responds well. Cross to Tony O'Sullivan. Well, it's a tall order now for Tipperary and their mentors, Babs Keating, Donny Nealon and John O'Donoghue, to get the chemistry right in this side. They picked a strange enough forward line last year, I felt. On that occasion, over 70 minutes, Cork scored 4 goals. They've scored 3 inside 17 minutes already. Meanwhile, Cormac Bonner, with Tip needing a score. Stopped by Ger Cunningham. Conal Bonner over there, letting that one go off the stick of Tomas Mulcahy. It'll be a sideline ball for Tipperary. Well, after a very even start to this match in the opening 6-7 minutes, that 3-goal blitz then in the space of about 10 minutes has certainly given Cork a decided edge. Declan Ryan. They've so many potential stars in their side, none more so than Nicky English here to win this game yet for them. Nicky English has his shot blocked down well. Blocked down by Shorty McCarthy, runs out here to Jim Cashman. Cashman getting there ahead of John Lahey, but it ends up being a sideline cut.
Well, Ger Tipper struggling in so many positions at the moment. I'd say they don't really know where to start switching around, but what they need to do with this, they just keep taking their points and try and haul themselves back into the game. It's a bit like me, just you've been beaten in so many positions you just don't know what to do, and all you've got to do is dig deep and try and haul yourself back into the game. I know it's Babs Keating giving Conor O'Donovan some advice up there in the full back line, and they need it badly.
Sean O'Gorman clearing his lines. Joe Hayes comfortably under it. Sullivan slipping. Cathal Casey taking it with style, driving it out defiantly. Bobby Ryan going across in a race for possession with Kevin Hennessy. Hennessy won it, but the ball has gone to a Tipperary man, to Conal Bonner. Down towards Michael Cleary, who got the first point of this match. Cashman. Again, a very fine clearance up through the middle. Kevin Hennessy beginning to roam. Certainly dominating that battle with Conor O'Donovan so far, as Ger Fitzgerald, the 2-goal hero, watches that clearance from Ken Hogan come out towards Joe Hayes. Runs on to an unmarked John Lahey, getting away from his man just for a moment. the support from Declan Ryan if he needs it. It's still Lahey. What a great run forward, Nicky English. Oh, they need a score badly, and Lahey might provide it. He's got the goal. John Lahey with a goal after 20 minutes. That's changed the picture. An injection of confidence now for Tipperary.
Great goal by Lahey here, Ger. Tip need a score badly, whether a point or a goal, and he races inside John Considine. Takes on Jim Cashman here again. Hand passes to Nick English, who looks as if he might have a chance for goal himself. But Cork are crowding him, ball breaks loose. And in fairness to Lahey, he kept going. Gathered the ball well and stuck into the far corner of the net from a difficult angle. Good goal by John Lahey.
4 points the margin. Cork the leaders. The incentive great. Tipperary wanting to prove a point. Cormac Bonner trying to round Jim Cashman. A good run forward. It's wide. Bonner complaining that it might well have gone off the defender, and that is the first wide for Tipperary in this game. We've had only 3 wides in all, 2 of those to Cork. A disgruntled Cormac Bonner. Ger Cunningham's puck out. Ger today playing in his 36th championship match. Bobby Ryan. Well, Tip now will get a lot of heart from that goal from John Lahey, having been out of it. In towards Nicky English, stopped by John Considine. Fox is there, coming to Tip's rescue, setting up the pass inside here for Declan Ryan to advance and take his point. His first score. But now there's just a goal between the teams.
Good play again here by Pat Fox, who spotted Declan Ryan loose. And as I said earlier, this is just what Tip need to do to haul themselves back into the game. They haven't been playing well, but that's a good score by Declan Ryan. And it keeps Tip well in touch, even though you could say they've been outplayed in so many positions throughout the field.
In a strange way, that second goal by Ger Fitzgerald a while back has, in fact, woken up this Tipperary team. Hennessy again, trying to feed off the ball. And in the end, it's whipped away outside by Ger Fitzgerald. Michael Babs-Keating, the Tipperary coach and manager, who's been in charge of the side now since the 1987 season. Donny Nealon there beside him, and they have a big task on hands this afternoon, but there are only 22 minutes gone, and it's 12 points to 9, or 3-3 for Cork, 1-6 for Tipperary, in a match which we're bringing you live this afternoon from Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Conall Bonner. Stopped by O'Gorman. Fox with a lovely pick-up. Driven over to the far corner towards Nicky English, who hasn't scored so far in the game. And he hasn't scored yet. John Considine, colleague of his at UCC and Fitzgibbon Cup teams, did a good job marking him last year. Although Nicky did manage to get a goal and 2 points in that match, but generally speaking, Considine was thought to have done a very fine job. Declan Carr, Tipperary captain, watching for Paul Delaney to come in with Joe Hayes here, half blocked down by Brendan O'Sullivan. Hayes trying to advance, Lahey making himself available, still Hayes. Nicky English, as Considine has slipped. English in the clear then. Chance of a first score here for Nicky English, steadying himself. And again, he's miscued. The angle was tight enough. Might have done his confidence an awful lot of good, but he knows he just needs a score or two to find his rhythm. Well,
indeed, Jared, they have 2 great chances by Nicky English, and they could prove costly, but fairness to Tipperary, they've knuckled down well, they've battled themselves back into the game, and I think Nicky could even have taken that ball in a bit further and try and commit more to the Cork defenders to come and tackle him.
Mark Foley trying to break that one down, but only as far as Lahey, pursued by Shawnee McCarthy. Back to Bobby Ryan, minus the stick. Supported here. Conall Bonner comes to Declan Ryan. Over the head of Nicky English, on towards Cormac Bonner, providing the hand pass inside for English. The ace predator coming forward. Went for the goal rather than the point. Stopped by Ger Cunningham. 10 minutes to go to half-time. And it's 3-3 for Cork. Tipperary 1-6. Translated into points, that's 12 against 9. O'Sullivan against Conall Bonner, with Lahey there too. Tony O'Sullivan dropping it in, batted out by Paul Delaney expertly, but now he has to run after it himself. Madden Michael Cleary in the clash of the ash with Cathal Casey. And the linesman signalling that it's going to be a Tipperary ball. John Madden's the one who's going to take it. Played, I think, out of position last year at corner back, but in the league he's moved to wing back, where his talent has been given fuller expression. Lahey. Finding the way to the left-hand side, Cormac Bonner pursuing it. And in the end, it's going to be a 65. So the game's first 65 coming to Tipperary. Richard Brown back in the championship action for Cork this afternoon. A dentist based in Kent. He's been practicing in the Youghal area over the recent months, by way of getting back into the championship fray for Cork.
Just quite an important score, 65 here now for Tipperary, in that they've had a few bad wides, and I think they just need another point to keep them in touch and keep them hammering away at Cork's lead.
Michael Cleary's the taker, and he's missed it. Score of 2 points so far, but those are 3 misses now, 2 by English and 1 by Cleary.
It's interesting though that Tipperary are certainly getting more to play in the half forward now, where John Lahey, Declan Ryan and Michael Cleary are starting to come into the game a bit more, and they need to, and get the ball into the inside forwards, where Cormac Bonner is starting to pose a bit of a threat to the Cork backs.
It sails into the Cork half forward line, met by Mark Foley. Conal Bonner going back there, trying to deny Ger Fitzgerald some space. Cork with possession then, and the sideline cut will be taken by Shawnee McCarthy. Well, the last one he cut in very nearly caused consternation inside for Tipperary, with John Fitzgibbon denied in the end by Ken Hogan. This is a poor one, missed by Joe Hayes. Tony O'Sullivan taking it at the second attempt. Knew he'd be hooped, so hand passed it across to Mark Foley, blocked down by Bobby Ryan. The race for possession over there, Conal Bonner number 7, Tomas Mulcahy, last year's Cork captain, number 10. Out to Hayes, 65 metres out from his own goal line, down towards Nicky English. Over the head with John Considine now going back. In very greasy conditions, treacherous underfoot, and in the end, John Fitzgibbon overheld. The referee decides, so it'll be a free for Tipperary. Considine, the player who overheld. Free to Tipperary, 20 metres out. And the referee, I think, just telling somebody that there are just over 7 minutes to go to half-time.
Again, not an easy free for Cleary, but he'll be hoping to point this and take back that lead to 2 points. They've missed a couple of chances, as I said already, and it's not an easy free, but at this level you'd expect him to score it.
He hasn't. He's missed it again. So the miss is now mounting up somewhat, and Tipperary with 5 wides in all against 3 for Cork. Only 7 frees in all. Well, I'm making 8 frees, in fact, in all in the first half. 1 of the frees to Cork, 7 to Tipperary. But essentially the game has flown quite well. Tony O'Sullivan dropped in towards Kevin Hennessy, and again the Tipperary backs having to be very tight on their men. Finally it's Ken Hogan who watches that one. Stepped out over the end line for another 65. This will be Cork's first. Once again, it's turned out to be a very damp and misty afternoon. Can't remember too many Munster finals played in dampness and mist. Normally it's high summer, but then this is a very odd summer. Cathal Casey of St. Catherine's and UCC. Showing the way. The second point, one from play earlier on, a fabulous long-range point. This is 65, and showing the tipmen how it's done.
Well, Jerome, as you say, it must be a sickening for Tipperary to see Cathal Casey so effortlessly pointing that one, and they're the sort of scores at this level you need to take if you're to win All Irelands.
Well, that he did. Well, back in midfield, it's John Lahey here. Brendan O'Sullivan comes out to Declan Carr. Oh, great length in it, and Jim Cashman defiantly back into the heart of the Tipperary backs once again. Missed by Noel Sheehy, Conal Bonner so going back. The players having a lot of trouble holding their footing. It's Conor O'Donovan now. stopped. John Fitzgibbon. Daylight robbery then as he picked that one up brilliantly. The back's closing him, however. Tony O'Sullivan. Space difficult to find here in Cork EP. Kevin Hennessy going across. Bobby Ryan trying to close him down. And it's Hennessy has found the range for about 20 metres out. So Kevin Hennessy now the scorer of a goal and the point.
It's a good score here again by Kevin Hennessy, but in the build-up to that play, Declan Carr in the middle of the field had the ball on his own and struck about 10 yards on the ground, where it cleared right back into the Tipperary full back line. And Kevin turns onto his right hand, hits a good score, but it's noticeable that Tipperary are not settling on the ball. They're just that bit jumpy in their play, and Cork are quicker to the break and delivering the ball a bit better into the forward line.
So 2 rapid points then from Cork means that the gap is 5. Ger Fitzgerald can't take it up onto his stick. Tomas Mulcahy having switched across to this left-hand side momentarily, shaping up for another one which tails to the left. 4 minutes to go to half-time, and scoreline reading Cork 3 goals and 5 points, Tipperary 1 goal and 6.
I think it's also noticeable, Ger, his breeze is stiffening up a bit and it's favouring Cork at the moment, and if it keeps blowing like that in the second half, it'll be a big advantage to Tipperary.
Conor O'Donovan then in need of some attention. A knee injury causing him some distress, but the wind that Jimmy was mentioning there, you'll judge from the national flag there over the scoreboard. It's a diagonal breeze, favouring Cork as you say, but blowing across towards the lofty heights of Montenotte as well. And O'Donovan has had several injuries which has curtailed his career. As we say, he missed last year's Munster final. He was a sub that day, but had been injured before that. There's no real chance of him making it. Declan Carr, who captains the side today by virtue of Holy Cross Ballycahill's long-awaited success in the county championship last year in Tipperary. And a sub, it seems, ready to come in very shortly. Michael Ryan of Upperchurch came in, of course, in place of John Kennedy in the semi-final against Limerick when Conall Bonner wasn't available. The sub continues to warm up, but Conor O'Donovan is okay, can continue. It was all by way of precaution. Well, Tip, I'm sure, would consider some alterations during half-time, a chance for them to address and assess their strategy.
I think they'd have to make changes there. I wouldn't be surprised if Noel Sheehy goes in full back, because Conor O'Donovan was struggling very badly against Kevin Hennessy, and they might swap them around in that fashion some way.
Indeed, there's a school of thought that holds that Noel Sheehy is a much better full-back than cornerback. Bobby Ryan touches it down, it's swept out into the middle. Declan Carr for a Tipperary side that has struggled in midfield in the first half. John Madden, Pat Hartnett. Now Declan Ryan taking it up on his stick, or attempting to do so. And a real chase over there with Cathal Casey. Michael Cleary. Oh, and he's put it well outside. It's not a typical Michael Cleary finish by any manner of means. There's a real hemorrhage of confidence just at the moment in the Tipperary forward line. The eye not quite in, missing several chances, and a minute and a half to go to half-time. They've had 7 wides in all in the first half. Joe Hayes touching it down. John Lahey. Once again another fine run forward, but he needed the ball driven down fast. He didn't supply it. The inside forward stopped by Jim Cashman. Cleared forward upfield. Delaney. Up towards Fox. Another super catch by Pat Fox, has been perhaps the best of the Tipperary inside forward so far in this game. Ger Cunningham is getting out past Nicky English, has left it behind. English has got his first point of the match. It's something of a milestone as well in Nicky English's career as a hurler in the championship hurling, because that is his 150th point in the championship.
That's better play by Nick English here. Comes in and puts Ger Cunningham under pressure. Nicky slips actually as Ger's about to clear, but he recovers quickly and hooks him beautifully. That's one of the great skills of hurling, a quick clean hook where you can gather possession from your opponent. And Cork are lucky here that Nicky hasn't time to slot it in the net, but he gets an excellent point, and that'll do his confidence a lot of good, I think.
Just reviewing the last 15 minutes, Cork really depended on those goals that they got in the opening 17 minutes, because everyone of the Tipperary forward line has now scored. Pat Fox again. Terrific skill. Tailing towards the right. Richard Brown Mustn't have connected. Smile on his face. That seemed to touch 65. So we're into injury time then. The end of an eventful first half. The trainer was on, attending of course to Conor O'Donovan. That wasted about a minute. 4 points between the teams. Tip led in the very early stages of the match. Then Cork, with those goals, really dominated so much of the exchanges. That's John Fitzgibbon across there with Paul Delaney. Kevin Hennessy once again taking up a good position. Conor O'Donovan not following him. We want a lash out here by Ger Fitzgerald, and Noel Sheehy again acting peacemaker. Thankfully there's no animosity, never really has been between Cork and Tipperary teams in recent years, and as such there's never a pile-up and a scramble. Bobby Ryan. The referee terminates the first half. First half where goals were the dominant factor, and Babs Keating goes in with a lot of work to do during the 10-minute interval to try and redress the situation, which sees Cork leading by 4 points. Goals by Ger Fitzgerald and Kevin Hennessy. So 3-5 for Cork, 1-7 for Tipperary. Straight away it's Conall Bonner. Joe Hayes here. Player down injured in the middle of the field, that's Pat Hartnett as the play restarts. Jim Cashman. So Pat Hartnett will need attention, having picked up that injury right at the start of this second half. Ger Fitzgerald, who got 2 goals in the first half, and a change is required, it seems. Player who came back into the heat of the championship, having missed the last 3 seasons when he was in the US. So Pat Hartnett looks decidedly shaky as Dr. Con Murphy's gone in there to attend to him, the Cork medical officer on the left-hand side with Gerald McCarthy.
They look concerned there, Jordan. You can see it's so warm up already. I think it's Kieran McGuffin's coming in, is it?
David Quirk, I think.
David Quirk
is going to come in. There was a suggestion that Quirk might well have been in midfield in the first place. All the speculation, of course, that goes on the weeks before the championship. As we're watching that shoulder by Hartnett, he came off second best. Meanwhile, back under pressure, Sean O'Gorman clearing for Cork on this misty afternoon. Declan Carr driving it in, but driving it outside for Tipperary, the first wide of the second half.
Sure, it could be quite a loss for Cork because Pat Hartnett was having a very powerful game in the middle of the field. He was doing a lot of work, putting a lot of Tipperary players under pressure, and he was certainly making his presence felt. But David Quirk is a very tough young player, not very well known outside of Cork, but very highly rated in Cork and club hurling, I know, and he should be well up to the task here.
Quirk has gone in to left half forward, or right half back I should say. Quirk is right half back, and Cathal Casey is the one who's been dispatched into midfield. So changes then being made by Cork, enforced changes. Cashman towards Tomas Mulcahy, super fetch with the left hand, standing his ground, driving it across towards John Fitzgibbon's wing. Beaten for it however by Paul Delaney. Fitzgibbon with 1 point to his credit so far in this match, but instrumental in setting up one of the Cork goals in the first half. Declan Carr watches that one come loose to Cathal Casey now, I'll remind you, out in midfield. Tipping it forward into space, nobody there for it, so it means a race out from his full-back position for Noel Sheehy, now Tipperary's full-back. And while back in the centre, the player who started all of that, Cathal Casey linking up with Brendan O'Sullivan, whipping on it deep down towards John Fitzgibbon again. Fitzgibbon having moved infield in his corner forward position. It reaches Tony O'Sullivan, pursued over there by Conall Bonner, turning on his right-hand side. Player has scored 5 points in last year's Munster final. Tony O'Sullivan with just 1 point so far, and that came from a free. In the first half, 6 points for Tipperary came from play, 1 from a free. Cork with 3 points from play, 2 from frees, and of course 3 goals as well. Nicky English dropping it forward, but not quite on the same wavelength there with Cormac Bonner. Bonner watches with Ger Cunningham. And John Considine has gifted it to John Lahey. Well, that is one they really should have put away. It was a gift initially, but it was fucked out by John Considine only as far as the waiting Lahey. And they should have done better, and he knows it.
Well, it's a let off for Cork here. John Considine hurries his clearance small, but it just hits it straight at John Lahey. But normally deadly from this distance, you'd expect him to score from there. It's a bad wide for Tipperary, and Tipperary could rue the misses they've had in this game, because they've certainly had plenty of opportunities, and they should even be level at this stage, if not ahead.
Bobby Ryan in front of an attendance of 46,927. Brendan O'Sullivan flashing in there with Declan Ryan. Ryan has seen his hurley broken, needs a replacement. It'll be a free for Tipperary following all of that. Michael Cleary, the player who's going out to take it. So a new stick has been given to Declan Ryan. And Michael Cleary will probably try to tap this one in towards Cormac Bonner for a Tipperary side looking for their first point of the second half. No scores for either team so far, half which is now 5 minutes old. Well, he's gone for the point and he's put it over the bar. It's a fine shot. A long-range free from the middle of the field, put over by Michael Cleary for his third point of the afternoon.
Well, it's an excellent score by Cleary, because in fairness, he hasn't been playing that well, and he's missed easier frees in the first half, but under pressure he gets in a very, very important score for Tipperary. That puts him right back in the game, just a goal behind Cork, and it's all to play for.
Declan Carr bats it down. David Quirk trying to come across there. It went from Jim Cashman's stick out as far as Declan Ryan, and Ger Cunningham's in trouble, and Cormac Bonner was in there raiding. Richard Brown there as well. Ger Cunningham, second attempt, picks it up, takes the shoulder from Pat Fox, gets out his clearance, however. Goalkeeper injured in the process. Tipperary under pressure, and John Madden hopes for it very capably. Declan Ryan looking for a little bit of space, outside to Madden again. Blocked down. Up to Nicky English with 1 point from the first half, but looking for another score in what's been a disappointing match for him so far. Well, as we say, just 3 points between the teams still.
Well, John Madden blocked down initially, but again fires a very good ball across the 21-yard line, where Nicky English advances to it. And in the past, this has been his classical situation, turning onto his right hand, but again it just drifts off to his left-hand side and wide. Again, you know, these could be costly wides for Tipperary, but they're certainly playing in the game with greater fire and great equipment, and they're not out of this game by any means.
10 wides for Tip, 5 for Cork. Cathal Casey right around Declan Carr, across towards Mark Foley. Michael Ryan, the substitute. Mark Foley has yet to score in this match, not making the impression that he made last year. Cleary going forward. Rounding Cashman, who slips. Still Cleary, a great scoring chance this for Tipperary, and Cleary has put it over the bar, and now there's just 2 points between the teams.
This is a great run here again by Cleary. He's starting to put himself and John Lahey on the other wing. They're starting to come into the game, and he races inside the Cork defence here, and Sean McCarthy just toiling behind him. And Cleary strikes an excellent point.
And just listen now to the Tipperary followers getting behind their team as Shawnee McCarthy tries to put the tip backs under a bit of pressure again. Paul Delaney. Well, he was fouled.
I think it's noticeable too, Gerald, the Tipperary full back line have certainly tightened up in the Cork full forward line, and introducing Noel Sheehy into full back seems to have had the desired effect, and Michael Ryan also seems to be a good substitution for them.
Breaks on to Pat Fox, again going by Jim Cashman. Fox closed down momentarily, still going forward, but then the ball going further away from goal, and in the end picked off the ground. Free out for Cork. Well, just for a moment there he'd gone by Jim Cashman and was going in to put just the bare minimum between the teams, but in the end just lost his way. Sean O'Gorman. Brendan O'Sullivan and Joe Hayes under the dropping ball, and it's Hayes who takes it magnificently. Up towards Fox's wing again. O'Gorman gets there first. As we've been saying, it's a magnificent crowd as always down here at Páirc Uí Chaoimh. I think they're enjoying it enormously because it's a very tight, tense match. A lot of good hurling, some great scores as well, some terrible misses also, but that's all part of the ingredients, I suppose, of a great championship tie. Nicky English racing across here with John Considine of Cork. Sean O'Gorman coming in, whipping it outside. It was McCarthy, in fact. Tony O'Sullivan battling, referee holding up proceedings. David Quirk is Cork's number 18, and the injured player down there is John Lahey. Cork get themselves the free, and it's Cathal Casey who will take it 65 metres out from his own goal. A Cork side yet to score in the second half. Brendan O'Sullivan in there. Tomás Mulcahy takes it well in dashing style, going forward, sending the pass outside to Mark Foley, looking for his first point of the afternoon. Still Foley taken down, free, and so very near to being inside the large rectangle. Very, very near to being a penalty.
Well, an excellent catch by Tomás Mulcahy just prior to that, and he releases the ball to Mark Foley, who turns inside the Tipperary defender, and he's taken down. Very well won free for Cork, and an important one as well. But it's significant how Tomás Mulcahy is playing at centre half forward, where he's been so influential for Cork in the past year.
Tony O'Sullivan taps it over and opens up a gap of 3 points again between the teams. Well, a match this which I hope you're enjoying enormously. We're now 10 minutes, a little over, into the second half, and it's very delicately balanced. David Quirk calling, missing. Having to go by now and try and stem the tide as John Lahey asserts himself, chips it across. Well, I'm not too sure if it was a pass or an attempt on a score. Somewhere in between. So Ger Cunningham, long puck expert, with the pucking out stick. Slight breeze into his face for the second half. Down to Tony O'Sullivan. Nicely dropped in, Paul Delaney going across there. Likewise John Fitzgibbon, the umpire well positioned, saw that it went off the Tipperary back. Looked a good decision from here. And Cathal Casey is the player who will go across to take it. There were strong rumours before this match that Cathal Casey might not be able to play because of a hamstring injury. But he's played, and he's played well. Scorer of 2 points so far. It's turning to the left. Cork's second wide on the second half, 6 in all against 11 for Tipperary. Ken Hogan's puck out. Dropping in the middle of the field. Cathal Casey breaking it down, having to pursue it himself. Joe Hayes getting there first, however. Over towards Sean O'Gorman, the left corner back. Giving the shackles there on Pat Fox. Always a danger man for Tipperary. John Madden here, number 5. Beautiful skill, taking it neatly. Cross towards John Lahey's wing. David Quirk is his marker now for the second half, remember, following the departure early in the half of Pat Hartnett. Pursued by Hayes, I should say. English involved in the move here with Ryan. Lahey, switch of wings, the same end result for John Lahey, a fine score. So a point for John Lahey. Coming across diagonally from left to right, involved in that intricate passing movement. Well,
initially very good hard working there by Nicky English, who, although he's not playing, things aren't going that well for himself. He's not hiding, he's certainly trying to get involved in the game. And in effect, he helped create a very good score for John Lahey. But Nicky English certainly isn't hiding all the way. Things aren't happening for him, but he's trying to haul himself back into the game. And, you know, he could be a danger man for Tipperary yet.
Tipper just within 2 points of Cork. Considine. What an engrossing championship match. Cathal Casey firing one in from way out the field, in towards Kevin Hennessy, dropping down towards Mark Foley. Chance for Mark Foley. Stopped brilliantly by Ken Hogan. On the goal line they wait. Fitzgibbon might have had a follow-up chance, but Mark Foley involved there in the fisticuffs with Paul Delaney. It was a splendid save by Ken Hogan. Mark Foley might well have gone for a point, which would have been his first score in the game. Instead he drove it in defiantly.
Well, this could be a vital turning point. The ball dropping in here between Noel Sheehy and Kevin Hennessy, and the tip defender commits himself. Mark Foley gathers it beautifully with one hand and strikes it perfectly with his left hand, but that's a fantastic reaction save by Ken Hogan. Never took his eye off the ball, and even with the Cork forwards coming in on top of him, he stood his ground, and it was a vital save for Tipperary, and who knows, it could be a turning point.
Just watching in reprise there, he was kicked as well on the ground, but he's back on his feet. And the crowd all around Corky Queeve responding. A change being made by Cork, and coming into the match in place of Brendan O'Sullivan seems to be Pat Buckley, I think, has come in. Well, that's an interesting decision by the referee. The foul seemed to be on the goalkeeper. There was no free out, it's a free in instead. O'Sullivan's the taker and he's tapped it over the bar. That's a curious one. I can only interpret it, the referee saw the shot coming in, great save by Ken Hogan, and then he was on the ball and presumably, Terence Murray said, didn't make an attempt to play it. It was mighty hard to do so. Well, it's a difficult one, as Michael Cleary coming out. And he's put it wide. He's claiming, I think, that it's gone over the bar. Just watch it again here.
You can just see him gathering it here, and he turns onto his right hand. It's difficult to see from this angle whether it's a point or not. If that where it goes over there, it looks like it's gone over the bar, but as I say, the camera angle, it can be difficult to see.
But what do you make of that last incident there? The referee gave a free in. It might have been a penalty if he fell on the ball inside of a small rectangle.
Or if he picked it off the ground in the square. I'm not sure what the decision. I think if he picked the ball off the ground, sure, I think it's a 21-yard free, not a penalty.
So it's going to be Noel Sheehy. Nicky English. Jim Cashman trying to command the situation there in the centre. Declan Carr was winding himself up for any loose ball that came out. Going to be a throw between the two of them. A really tough, tense Munster Championship match. Ger Fitzgerald. Kevin Hennessy gathering delightfully against Noel Sheehy, his new marker inside to Fitzgibbon, and he's put it over the bar. Lovely economical style from John Fitzgibbon after Kevin Hennessy did so much of the spade work with an excellent catch.
Well, Cork has certainly made the most of the opportunities that are coming their way. This is an excellent catch by Kevin Hennessy again, and releases the ball just the right moment to John Fitzgibbon. It could have been blocked down, but he strikes an excellent point, takes his point very well.
So 4 points the margin. Cork the leaders. Midway now through this second half. And a foul pull that time. The referee going across, having a word there with Conal Bonner. Ger Fitzgerald, who scored 2 goals in the first half, hasn't scored so far in the second half. He's now playing at right half forward. It's Mark Foley, top of the right, and Ger Fitzgerald, number 13 here, who is right half forward. Aidan Ryan might well be coming into the Tipperary team very shortly. So Dr. Con Murphy once again busy there, trying to attend to Ger Fitzgerald. So will the spray have the desired result? Free taken by Tony O'Sullivan, the team captain. Joe Hayes lets it drop down. Bobby Ryan was right alongside him. Conal Bonner trying to take it out of the defensive area. Ger Fitzgerald fighting hard, very near the sideline, firing it across towards John Fitzgibbon wing over there with Paul Delaney. That's come back down there to Pat Buckley, the substitute has just come in a few minutes ago. Hand passing it back, looking for a man coming forward, that is Fitzgibbon. They're working hard for a score. It comes eventually off Michael Ryan from Mark Foley, and somehow Buckley denied another 65. Tip almost coming to grief, not once but a couple of times there.
Well, another narrow escape for the Tipperary goal here. John Fitzgibbon is groovy turn their side every time he gets the ball. Hand passes it across the area. Mark Foley tries to connect it in full flight. It deflects back into the pad of Pat Buckley, who's just come on the field, and Ken Hogan is lucky to usher that out for a 65. But certainly, Jared, the problems from Tipperary's point of view is that Cork seem to be able to create more openings in front of goal and take their chances easier than Tipperary. Tipperary finding scores very hard to come by.
Dropped in invitingly. Noel Sheehy getting the early to that one. Battling away. John Fitzgibbon firing it into goal! A goal for John Fitzgibbon. 2 goals in last year's final. A goal and 2 so far for the Glen Rovers star.
This is a tremendous goal for Fitzgibbon. He certainly is the man of the moment where goals are concerned. Again, when the ball breaks, he's always the fastest player to react, and that's a tremendous ground shot, giving Ken Hogan no chance at his near post. Fantastic boost for Cork, and it's been Cork's strength in the past few years, their ability to get goals at vital stages, and again they've struck there again.
Joe Hayes, you saw it going off there, Babs Keating making the change, and Aidan Ryan is in the Tipperary team. So panic stations now for Tipperary, who now trail by 7 points. An injury here picked up by David Quirk of Middleton and Cork. So Aidan Ryan, who's been the star of so many Tipperary teams in the past, from Borrisoleigh, always remembered, I suppose, for his performances in 1987, those dramatic 2 matches against Cork. Michael Cleary has cut it back to a 2-goal difference again, with his 5th point of the match, 3 of those coming from frees. Is there a way back now for Tipperary? That's the big question. A test of their character, their mettle, and perhaps their full back line as well.
This is it, I've said it already, but every time the ball breaks loose around the Tipperary square, it looks as if Cork will get goals, and that's Tip's big problem at the moment. They can't get the ball into their full forward line.
Every one of the Cork full back line has now full forward line has now scored a goal. This is Pat Buckley. Down towards John Fitzgibbon. Paul Delaney linking up with Noel Sheehy. Trying to dart through the cover of 2 Cork forwards to make his clearance. Up towards Michael Cleary's wing. Aidan Ryan now with his first contribution for Tipperary. Can he give them an edge in around the half-forward line? Jim Cashman comfortably taking that one. Considine over there challenging with Nicky English still. Conal Bonner leaving the free for John Madden. "14 minutes to go. Cashman lets it behind, and Declan Ryan advancing, trying to set up the chance for John Lahey. Came off Sean O'Gorman, out to Michael Cleary, and put over the bar. Michael Cleary doing well at right half forward now again, taking his chances, getting his scores, keeping Tip neatly in touch. They're far from out of it.
That's an important point here for Tip, as you say already, just puts him 5 points behind. I think they'll need a goal to give them a little spark of inspiration that they might need. And who's to say if they get a goal they wouldn't be back in the game, but the way Cork were playing, it's hard to see Tip winning, but if they got a goal they'll certainly be in with a chance.
Declan Carr, Fox can't hold it. Sean O'Gorman, this is Aidan Ryan advancing, saying leave it to me. Pat Fox right beside him. Aidan Ryan still going forward, and he's put it wide. And it might have been wiser to leave it to Pat Fox. Obviously he fancied his chances. Tipperary have scored 5 points in the second half so far. Cork, the scorers of a goal and 3 points. Conal Bonner beaten for it by Ger Fitzgerald, runs on to John Fitzgibbon. Or Pat Buckley, I should say. Buckley. And he's made a fine contribution by putting it over the bar. His first point since his introduction. Playing across on the same wing over there as John Fitzgibbon. Cork fans delighted. Just over 12 minutes remaining. That's Shawley McCarthy now operating at left half-back. Cathal Casey in midfield. Against Declan Carr and Michael Cleary. Half-block, John Madden, miscues completely. Casey again, it's tough and ferocious and around the middle of the field, space at a premium. That's Ger Fitzgerald playing the hand pass outside to Tony O'Sullivan, stopped by Bobby Ryan, advancing still, over towards John Fitzgibbon. Fitzgibbon crossing the 45-metre line. The shot directed, but outside. Cork's third wide of the second half. They're 7th in all against 13 for Tipperary. 7 of those Tipperary wides were in the first half. Babs Keating has set his side in with a shooting well below standard. Ryan. Score important here, and he's got it. He may have missed one a few minutes ago. He's got this latest one. So now it's back to more manageable proportions again for Tipperary.
Here again, Aidan Ryan gets an excellent point off his left hand, but he missed an easier chance just before that, which would have kept Tipperary ticking over. But a very good score, and it just keeps Tipperary in touch, but I still think they need a goal if they're to come back into this game.
Declan Carr going across there, misses it completely. Pat Buckley doesn't. In towards the centre. Ger Fitzgerald trying to hold on to it. Conall Bonner trying to put it away. Tomas Mulcahy raiding, and finally in the end it's Michael Ryan, the substitute. Up towards Cormac Bonner. It runs on for Fox, and there's a goal chance here for Tipperary. A crucial one at that. 10 minutes to go, and Pat Fox has worked the oracle, as he's done so often in the past.
Well, great defending by Michael Ryan. He won the ball independent and cleared a tremendous clearance up the field. Cormac Bonner goes for Richard Brown, but the first player to spot it is Pat Fox. Tremendous corner forward play here. Races inside the defence, advances on Ger Cunningham and doesn't make any mistake from that. Tremendous shot and gave Cunningham no chance from that distance.
Well, as always, these sides serving up a tremendous contest. Just 2 points the difference. Tipperary being led, but still very much in the hunt. The champions then under pressure. John Lahey whipped across towards Michael Cleary. Ger Cunningham advancing from his goal with just under 10 minutes to go. Plenty of time for either side to win this one and win it well. Declan Carr. A tight competitive match, and we're looking forward to the last 10 minutes. It should be well worth watching. Richard Brown secure in his handling. Cathal Casey was calling for it. He was totally unmarked. Likewise Jim Cashman. Cashman to the middle of the field, where it's stopped by Conall Bonner. Aidan Ryan driving it forward on towards Pat Fox. Delightful first touch, going over there to follow it himself, with John Considine going over to put in a challenge. Fox on the ground, the referee allowing an advantage if there was a foul. It's with Nicky English. English in typical style, bursting through, high challenge to the face. The injury to Nicky English, the referee with the notebook out. So it's going to be a free in, and the referee going across there for that high challenge by John Considine. An elbow to the face. A lot of elbows in Gaelic football, and now creeping into hurling as well, and it's something we don't like to see, Jimmy.
No, indeed, and in fairness to John Considine, he has played Nicky English very fairly and very clean all day, and there was no need for that, I don't think. But in fairness to Nicky English, he didn't make anything of it. He got up as quickly as he could, and free for Tipperary.
Teddy McCarthy is in, and it's been put over the bar. Michael Cleary has scored 7 points in this Munster final, and now the margin is just a point. The restructuring then by Cork, bringing in Teddy McCarthy, and the player who seemed to go off was David Quirk.
Well, Gerson, important substitution for Cork, because Cork need to get possession in the half-forward line, where they've just gone out of the game a small bit. And it's interesting that Aidan Ryan has also made a great contribution for Tipperary.
Teddy's first contribution to hold on to that one. It's stopped by Aidan Ryan, as you say, making a fine contribution up towards Cormac Bonner. Can Tipperary get on level terms with this attack in a fascinating Munster final? Not on this occasion, because there was a foul, the referee decides, by Cormac Bonner on the fullback Richard Brown. Free out. Well, we had a heart-stopping finish in Croke Park yesterday. It looks like we're going to get another one today. John Madden under it over there with Pat Buckley. Runs on to Declan Carr, the Tipperary team captain, through the middle, stopped by Jim Cashman. Dropping it down towards Mark Foley, who hasn't had the best of afternoons. That's John Lahey, half blocked by an injured and limping Cathal Casey. Nicky English coming out to make space for himself, lobbing it forward well towards Cormac Bonner. Trying to go by Richard Brown. Cashman came in with the challenge, the foul, the free, and this may be it. A chance for Michael Cleary to put the teams on level terms. 6.5 minutes on my watch still to go.
A very good pick up by Cormac Bonner, who's now starting to get the ball that he needed all through and wasn't receiving, and he's putting pressure on the Cork defence. Jim Cashman comes in there. It's hard to see, but maybe a harsh decision. I thought maybe he was a good shoulder.
4 of the 8 points from Michael Cleary have come from frees. 5, I should say. We now make it 5 of the 8 come from frees. He's making his contribution and the sides are level. Stony silence among the Cork fans right now, but it's the Tipperary fans who are cheering. They've seen their side come back, labouring under the handicap of so many wides, 13 in all against just 7 for Cork. And it's Bobby Ryan now dashing forward. He wants to see his side take this Munster Cup back to Tipperary, and it's Nicky English is in the clear. There's a goal shot, stopped brilliantly by Ger Cunningham, comes out as far as Fox, and he's put it wide. They're still level, 21 points apiece, or translated into goals and score points. It's Cork 4-9, Tipperary 2-15. This was the chance.
Great play again by Bobby Ryan, strikes the ball into Cormac Bonner, who knocks it down for Nick English, races onto it beautifully, just like Pat Fox did earlier, and it's odds on English to score here, but typical Ger Cunningham, just like the All-Ireland final last year against Galway, came off his line courageously and made a fantastic save for Cork.
Declan Carr, through the middle, is given it to Teddy McCarthy. Declan Ryan slow to close him down, but did so effectively in the end. But he's conceded the free. The referee has awarded the free to Cork. 5 minutes to go now. In the white heat of Munster Championship final, it'll be Cathal Casey who'll take the free in for a Cork side that was leading at one stage in the second half by 7 points. Dropped in invitingly again, down towards John Fitzgibbon. This time the bounce not favouring him, and it's Paul Delaney who lifts the siege out into the centre of the field again, batted back down there by Shawnee McCarthy to the team captain Tony O'Sullivan on his left-hand side, providing the ammunition inside for the forwards to raid. Kevin Hennessy beaten for it by a very gallant Noel Sheehy. It comes out here towards Pat Buckley, the Cork substitute in the second half, rounding John Madden. Time ticking away for both these sides. Kevin Hennessy going forward, tight enough angle, stopped by Ken Hogan. Sheehy there as well. Back again it comes. What a battle. A terrific contest between two terrific teams. It's going to be a 65. Dennis Hurley there, one of the selectors in the centre, involved in that conference with Frank Murphy and the other selectors as well, including Father Michael O'Brien, of course. Well, we've had draws and replays and just about everything else in the championship so far, and this is yet another one. Cathal Casey, the 65-metre taker. It's going in, it's stopped, Mark Foley, and it's coming out towards John Fitzgibbon, appeals, and yes, it's been granted a 65. Bobby O'Ryan and Paul Delaney, a look of disbelief, and Babs just checks the watch. He sees that there's just over 3 minutes to go. That's the other man, John O'Donoghue there, who's joined the selectors this year in place of Theo English. 3 minutes to go. It's going to be another 65. Again, Cathal Casey the taker. Has the well of goals for Cork dried up? It's gone wide. Bob's Keating on his feet, calling out the instructions to his forward line.
Ger waiting to pop out here who can get possession, because the next goal is going to be so important for whichever side can get hold of the ball here.
Batted down by Jim Cashman towards Teddy McCarthy. Jim Cashman again. Under the dropping ball, Conal Bonner gets the second chance to knock it forward. Cathal Casey has played his part in what's been a superb example of Munster Championship hurling. Jim Cashman, that wonderful hurler at centre half back, dropping it outside there towards John Fitzgibbon. Paul Delaney, who's been tight in his marking all through this game and has needed to be against John Fitzgibbon. John Madden onto the loose ball for a Tipperary side, seeking to bring the Munster Championship Cup back to the Premier County. Well, they won here on their last Munster final visit against Waterford in '86. Can they do it again? It's Michael Cleary dancing through the Cork defence. The referee says play on. Cleary, I think, felt he might have won himself a free. At the end, it's gone wide. Under 2 minutes to go. The puck out's been taken very quickly as Michael clearly picks himself off the ground. That was quick thinking by Ger Cunningham. Out as far as Tony O'Sullivan. So who's going to win it if there's to be a winner today? Kevin Hennessy. Striking it from his right-hand side, and he's put it over the bar. A goal and 2 points for Hennessy. Just over a minute to go now. The Cork fans in jubilant form up at the Blackrock end of Cork Equive. But now it's a chance for Tipperary to apply some pressure on the Cork defence, and it's Nicky English going forward. He's lost the hurley, kicking it, and he has put it wide. Nicky English going in there to appeal, having lost the hurley, Jimmy.
Again, Nicky scored a goal in this situation before. He boots it high. It's difficult to say, but it might have gone over the bar from here. It's very, very hard to see.
Absolutely
it certainly looks like it went inside the post from here, but it's very difficult to say. I'd like to see it again. Here you see English racing onto it. He has lost his hurley.
I think it was over the bar.
And here they go. Nicky just about to kick it now. Let's fly. Just slow it down. It looks like there it's gone over the bar all right.
Ger Cunningham, his side continuing to lead by a point, when in fairness Tipperary at least deserved a draw. O'Sullivan stopped here brilliantly by Michael Ryan. Again the pressure is applied by Kevin Hennessy. John Madden coming in. Only 5 seconds of normal time remaining on my watch as we watch Noel Sheehy go way up the field from his full-back position. Outside here to John Lahey. Can they draw on level terms? Will they even win it? Lahey stopped, however, by Considine. It runs loose and there are players advancing on Ger Cunningham's goal. One of them is Lahey. Cunningham coming out. Still a pile-up in front there as we watch Pat Fox try to take possession. And he's put it over the bar, and it's no more than they deserve. Pat Fox.
That's an unbelievable score. Looking at Noel Sheehy, I think he might have thought of Kevin Foley yesterday coming up the field and having a go himself. But he just released the ball at the right time, and Pat Fox from broken play took a fantastic point under pressure.
Well, if you were a pacemaker, I hope you put a new battery in. A grandstand finish. We're well into injury time. Babs Keating wanting to make some late changes. Who'd be a manager, and it's going to go to a replay. They finish level, 22 points each. And Nicky English, I think, still perhaps feeling that he was robbed when there was a chance of a point just a minute ago. But when it came out here to Pat Fox, all the style and artistry as he rounded Shawnee McCarthy, got it onto his left-hand side, drove it over the bar to tie the game up at Cork 4-10, Tipperary 2-16. So Michael Babs Keating, who's seen his side throw away valuable possession, shooting 16 wides in all against Cork's 8. But Jimmy, it was a magnificent Munster final.
Fantastic, Ger. Tremendous sportsmanship, hardly a bad blow in the whole game, and it's a tremendous advertisement for hurling. And I think it's fantastic that the game went out live so that people could see just what the Munster Championship is all about.
So the final score: Cork 4-10, 22 points, Tipperary 2-16, 22 points. They'll meet again, and Nicky will still wonder why that one didn't count. The umpire there who ruled that it was outside, and they were still having a few words with him after that game. But that was a very critical decision by the umpire, Jimmy. It's not fair, I suppose, to have to put your head on the block here, but
I don't mind putting my head in the block, but as you see Nicky kicking the ball here, it really is difficult to see just whether it passed inside the post or not. As you can see the ball rising up here.
Now,
it's certainly moved on small bit.
Oh, I think it's wide from here. From this angle it was wide. I thought initially that it had gone over.
Really, I honestly don't know. I think the umpire is in the best position to see. At the time I thought it was a point. It's hard to say from here.
The ball did not seem to disappear behind the white of the post. From there, from this angle here, looking at it again in replay, I think it was outside. Let's have another look. Make your own minds up here.
It just shows how difficult it is for an umpire in this situation with players bearing down on top from Ger. It all happens so fast. He kicks it beautifully. In fairness to him, he could do nothing else.
Well, here we go again. Now, does it disappear behind the post? Can you still see the ball as we let it run on? I can still see the ball. It's outside. It's wide. So the umpire was right. Nicky will look at it again, I'm sure. Probably still convinced that it was a point, but it's all academical at this stage. Goes to a replay. I wouldn't be surprised if that is next weekend.
Feature, I think in fairness, in the end, the draw was a fair result. I don't think either team deserved to lose on the day.
Well, I do hope that you've enjoyed watching and sharing the glory of this Munster Championship match. We certainly have enjoyed bringing it to you. We'll await details, of course, later on for details of the replay and so on, but next Sunday seems to me a likely possibility. And if we have some details of that, we certainly will bring it to you before we go off the air. Well, this was a thrilling one today, but yesterday, of course, a thrilling one as well. That between Dublin and Meath. It was their fourth meeting, and what a finale it turned out to be. Have a look at it again yourselves. Meath going through in the end by just the bare minimum. What a great match we've had here as well in Cork this afternoon. With me, Nicky English. Nicky, was it or was it not a point?
I think it was over, Joe, all right, you know. I suppose in the end it probably didn't make any difference anyway. When it was a draw, you know, it was probably going to be a draw anyway, I'd say, you know.
What do you remember about it? You went through, lost the stick.
Yeah, I just kicked it, but I got up, but from where I was looking, I thought it was over, you know. I suppose it was just we were very excited at the time, and it looked as if we had thrown away so many chances. And Jesus, I was myself. I just couldn't score. At the end, I had no confidence, I suppose, and that was typical of Tip. We just threw away chance after chance after chance, and even I went through with a few minutes to go and just hit it off of Ger Cunningham. So it's very disappointing. But I suppose in another way it was, with everything going like that, and Cork seemed to have the match won when they went 7 points up, you know. So it's good to get a second chance.
Well, Nicky, we've enjoyed it immensely. Thank you for coming out and talking to us. By the way, now just mention of the replay. The replay date is next Sunday, but the venue has yet to be determined. The two sides are discussing it at the present time. Well, if you've enjoyed it this afternoon, perhaps you'd like to look again at the last few minutes of what was a great match. It's been a superb example of Munster Championship hurling. Jim Cashman, that wonderful hurler at centre half back, dropping it outside there towards John Fitzgibbon. Paul Delaney, who's been tight in his marking all through this game and has needed to be against John Fitzgibbon. John Madden onto the loose ball for a Tipperary side, seeking to bring the Munster Championship Cup back to the Premier County. Well, they won here on their last Munster final visit against Waterford in '86. Can they do it again? It's Michael Cleary dancing through the Cork defence. The referee says play on. Cleary, I think, felt he might have won himself a free. At the end, it's gone wide. Under 2 minutes to go. The puck out's been taken very quickly as Michael Cleary picks himself off the ground. That was quick thinking by Ger Cunningham. Out as far as Tony O'Sullivan. So who's going to win it if there's to be a winner today? Kevin Hennessy. Striking it from his right-hand side, and he's put it over the bar. A goal and two for Hennessy. Just over a minute to go now. The Cork fans in jubilant form up at the Blackrock end of Cork. But now it's a chance for Tipperary to apply some pressure on the Cork defence, and it's Nicky English going forward. He's lost the hurley, kicking it, and he has put it wide. Nicky English going in there to appeal, having lost the hurley, Jimmy.
Nicky scored a goal in this situation before. His boots are high. It's difficult to say, but it might have gone over the bar from here. It's very hard to see.
Nicky is absolutely
incensed. It certainly looked like it went inside the post from here, but it's very difficult to say. I'd like to see it again. Here you see English racing onto it. He has lost his hurley.
I think it was over the bar.
And here they go. Nicky just about to kick it now. Let's fly. Just slow it down. It's just... Looks like there it's gone over the bar all right.
Ger Cunningham, his side continuing to lead by a point, when in fairness Tipperary at least deserved a draw. O'Sullivan stopped here brilliantly by Michael Ryan. Again the pressure is applied by Kevin Hennessy. John Madden coming in. Only 5 seconds of normal time remaining on my watch as we watch Noel Sheehy go way up the field from his full-back position. Outside here to John Lahey. Can they draw on level terms? Will they even win it? Lahey stopped, however, by Considine. It runs loose and there are players advancing on Ger Cunningham's goal. One of them is Lahey. Cunningham coming out. Still a pile-up in front there as we watch Pat Fox try to take possession. And he's put it over the bar, and it's is there.
That's an unbelievable score. Looking at Noel Sheehy, I think he might have thought of Kevin Foley yesterday coming up the field and having a go himself. But he just released the ball at the right time and had Foxton broken play, took a fantastic point under pressure.
Well, if you were a pacemaker, I hope you put a new battery in. A grandstand finish. We're well into injury time. Babs Keating wanting to make some late changes. Who'd be a manager, and it's going to go to a replay. They finish level, 22 points each. Yes, controversy and high drama as well, and so they live to fight another day. That will be next Sunday. We'll have the venue for you if we have it in the Sunday game tonight, which is at 3 minutes past 8. Don't forget as well that Jimmy Barry Murphy will be announcing his man of the match at that time as well. Also highlights of Laois against Louth from the Leinster Football Championship semi-final. Until then, from Porky Quay, from the Munster Hurling